Presiding Officer, I very much welcome the opportunity to contribute to this debate on the forthcoming referendum. Scottish Labour has clearly set out its stall in the body of our motion and the strength of our arguments so far today. We not only accept but strongly believe that the Scottish Government has the mandate for a referendum in the lifetime of this Parliament. We simply state that such a referendum is legal, fair and decisive. It is with that objective that we add our support to the calls led by the Deputy First Minister for just one question, why we believe the Electoral Commission must be involved, and why we believe that all parties, Civic Scotland and the wider public, have as strong a stake in the process leading up to the referendum as they do in the very heart of the debate itself. We have heard a number, and will likely hear many more speeches this morning, from members who have served this Parliament and the Scottish people since 1999. Members like Joanne Lamont, Patricia Ferguson and Sarah Boyack, whose politics formed this building, who fought with heart and soul for the very existence of this institution that we find ourselves in. I find myself in a slightly different position, and I hope they will forgive me for this, because whilst they were fighting for devolution, debating the detail and making history, no thank you, and whilst the SNP were sitting on the sidelines, I was still at school. Just 15 years old when Labour won their historic landslide in 1997, 16 when the referendum took place 134 days later, and 17 when the first elections for this building took place. Yes.
Kezia Dugdale, I thank the member for taking an intervention. She mentions herself when she was 15, 16, and we've had the discussions about 16, 17 years old. She signed the pledge. Can she now give an unequivocal response that she will back 16 and 17-year-olds to vote in the independence referendum, and if not, admit that that is utter political hypocrisy if she fails to give it?
Presiding Officer, I very much welcome that intervention because it's the basis of the rest of my speech, so I'll hopefully answer some of Humza's question on that point. The politics of my colleagues shaped this building, but this building shaped my politics. I am a child of devolution. For me and for many people of my generation, this Parliament, this institution, is the hub of Scottish politics. Devolution in a strong United Kingdom is the settled will for many people in this country. A Parliament for the people with the time, space and political will to focus on the issues which really matter to the people of Scotland. The quality of their schools, the health of their family, rights of the land and decent housing, serious powers to address poverty and inequality, the issues which drove me into my party and into this Parliament. I was not old enough to participate in the last key democratic moments of the Parliament's creation, as Humza has pointed out, and I know that there are many people on the SNP benches who support lowering the voting age to 16, so that the next generation can have their say in the momentous decisions that lie ahead of us. I fully support votes at 16. I'm a signed-up member of the coalition, and as members rightly pointed out, I recently reaffirmed that support by signing Kevin Stewart's motion, and I will continue to campaign to progress the rights of young people, the democratic rights of young people. But I cannot bear the crocodile tears and the faux indignation from members of the SNP who have not lifted a finger to even attempt to exercise that possibility. Mark MacDonald, Presiding Officer, Mark MacDonald says that it's SNP policy. So where were the SNP parliamentary debates? Where were the SNP and Joan McAlpine on the Scotland Bill asking for rights for 16 and 17 years old? Where were the willingness to address the child protection issues that rose out of the NHS local election board questions? Where were the righteous calls of the great injustice on our airwaves? Absolutely nowhere to be seen. They make a credible case for young people to be democratically involved in the most significant decision our country will take for centuries. But critical decisions affecting their livelihoods, life chances, the health and wealth of their families will be taken in the council chambers in a matter of months, and they did nothing to progress the issues. I have taken one intervention already. I've addressed the question. I will continue to do so. Presiding Officer, on that point, there are thousands upon thousands of 15 and 16-year-old children in Scotland today who will get a vote in this referendum because they will be 18 by the time this referendum comes round. At a right-wing 57, Presiding Officer, the First Minister will likely have his bus pass by that point. That's if they don't cut it beforehand. The question of age is subjective, so I'm told. Whatever the date of the referendum, there will be young people who, by accident of their birth, will be disenfranchised. And there are many people who cynically, and perhaps with reason, believe the SNP's support for votes at 16 extends only to the referendum because some pollster has told them it is electorally advantageous. I'm in my final minute, thank you. I do not accept the premise of that view on the basis that every classroom of young people I have ever met with since my election have been overwhelmingly suspicious of separation. Bright, aspirational young people who see many greater causes in the world to fight for. So the issue of votes at 16 for me is not about political expediency on either side of the debate. It is a matter of principle. You either accept or deny that people who can drive cars, marry or die for their country have the capacity to complete a ballot paper. If you accept, like me, that they do, you have no right to attempt to pick and choose what ballot papers they are presented with. In conclusion, Presiding Officer, my party simply seek a referendum which is fair, legal and decisive. If all political parties come together with Civic Scotland to agree that basic premise, we can all put all these process issues to bed and get on with debating the real contentions around separation and the compelling benefits that the Union has brought us.
Close, please.
They would rather pick a fight with London than put the flesh and the bones of their party's primary purpose.
You must
For
close,
them, the
please.
process is the politics, and that's why we have brought this motion to the Chamber today.
Yep.